Hello everyone, in this video I'll be showing you an early game guide for Clair Obscur Expedition 33, where to put your points whenever you're leveling up to make a powerful build, and all the things associated with combat. Now, I guess first things first, we'll show you off how to go about your attributes here, because upgrading them is a little bit confusing at first, because you might think certain ones are best for others, but you can see here the C and the D under each of these attributes. This is going to be dependent on your weapon, so whenever you go into your character sheet here and look at the weapon that they have equipped, there will be different statuses. So this one here, you got a fire element with D in defense and C in agility. And for Rob Pattinson here, we got ourselves a weapon with C in vitality and D in agility, Gustav. So what we want to be focusing on for Gustav is he's really all about getting critical hits with his main attack there. So whenever you look at certain skills, for Gustav, his main one here is the Lumiere Assault. Deals low single target damage, 5 hits, and every critical hit will give you a charge. His whole kit is about building up his charge and then bursting out with the overcharge. Deals high single target lightning damage with the amount of charges. So this will reduce all your charges. So with him, your kind of gameplay is about using this to build up your charges, and getting critical hits is going to be really important for that. Some of the other abilities, like giving your, I really like this one, the Powerful, which buffs up your allies, increase the amount of the damage that they deal, which will give you a couple charges as well. And this one can also give you a couple charges, but this is going to be the main way to get our charges. Now for Loon here, she's a kind of caster, but healer as well, the healing light being really effective, and using fire or ice damage, depending on what elements the enemies are weak to. But as for building our characters out, luck is going to be one of the most effective skills here for Gustav, because the critical hit rate, we got ourselves a 10% critical hit chance now. So every time that gets buffed up, it increases the amount of charges that he is going to be able to get. As for defense, that's nice, but you can also dodge and just not get hit. And vitality is just going to give you a bit more forgiveness at the early game whenever you're likely to get hit a few times. And if you got a weapon that gives you a C scaling there, it does buff up like your attack power and other stats as well. Same with the agility there. It's going to increase your speed, which allows you to act more frequently, which is nice. So for him, a bit of vitality at the start of the game is nice again for forgiveness, but luck is going to be his best stat. As for Loon, it's kind of a split. You want a little bit of agility. Luck is also quite nice too, because she has a pretty decent critical hit chance as well, but agility being a very effective one, because she's a healer and a spellcaster, so you want to get her moving quickly. So those two stats work very well there. And as for skills, again, as I mentioned, he's all about building it up. So as you continue to go, it's best to have ones that are going to build up your charge, because this is going to be his most damaging ability. And as for Loon, I recommend grabbing the healing light as soon as possible, because this will give you ability to heal your targets for 30 to 50%, which is really nice when you're getting into a fight that just doesn't end up going your way. Now, what does combat end up looking like? Well, there's a few cool things that you can do in combat. When you see an enemy that you want to get into a fight with, you can kind of sneak up on them and then use your attack to be able to make sure that you go first whenever you enter the combat. Now, we got action points, and how we use them is important. So, whenever you have the first strike here, you can go with a gunshot. There are enemies that have weaknesses, so we want to be using those if at all possible. However, we can also just go with a skill point, and we have 4 action points right now. So, for him, the Lumiere Assault is probably going to be the best choice here. These do have a pretty good they don't get hurt very quickly from things, but fire damage works well on them, so we'll just go ahead here with this. And whenever you have that A button prompt here, you want to be hitting it to get the perfect attacks off. But as you can see, they were pretty strong against that. So for her, it's best to use her action points to be able to do that, because you can see there, it was doing a lot of damage. And then we can go in and use a skill like this if we wanted to, which will apply burn. Burn is going to be best if it's done on a target with large amounts of health, so it'll do damage over time. So for her, we're probably just best to continue doing an attack like this and hopefully get them down as low as possible, and then just go with a melee attack here, as that's just going to finish them off. Now, the nice thing is, any character that has a, as you can see there, any enemy that we fight usually has a telltale sign of when to dodge. For that one there's a ground spike, and then we dodge. There's other ones that have a like a spike that'll pop out of the character whenever you are meant to do an attack against them. So you got a few different options in terms of what you could do for overall damage, because when it comes down to it, you want to be focusing on the amount of damage that's going to be, you know, if we got an attack that's going to be super effective against the target, that's going to be the best to use. Kind of similar to Persona. And kind of back to my previous point there about when to dodge. You might have to fight an enemy a couple times to get comfortable with the timing for it, but dodging is going to have a bit more of a, it's going to be easier to get off than parrying will be. Now for Pictos, they're pretty important because they can help you build your character even further. So like at the early game, you can get the dodger here, which will give you 1 AP on a perfect dodge once per turn. This is great because this can help build up the amount of if you're someone that prefers dodging, that's a great one to have, as parrying will give you a action point back, but you can get it back just by using the dodge there, and it'll also boost up your abilities too. And the dead energy gives a +3 action point on killing an enemy, so this is going to be one that you want to have on. I have it on him right now, but might actually be a little bit better on her. I also put the burning shots on her Pictos there, because the burning shots are really effective, because you can get that on her just main attack there. Putting the extra action points on her is nice, because if she's able to take out an enemy, then you can go ahead with a heal or spreading elemental damage types to multiple targets. Now, each enemy that you go against is going to have different weaknesses. So we got just our regular foe here that we can go against. Now, this one here, any flyers, you're best just going at them with range attacks there. You can see it doesn't do a whole bunch of damage. With 3 shots, was able to take it out. Flyers are annoying because they'll dodge your just normal attacks for the most part. And then we can also finish off with one more attack on that one there, because it's going to give us a good amount of damage against it. And then we can just go with a simple attack there against this enemy. Wasn't enough to finish them off, but that's okay. And this one being weak to fire, we want to be using that there. We were able to apply the burn, which is perfect. So we'll finish off this target, and the burn will hopefully be enough to finish them off. We got a lot of actions there, so this should be good to finish them, because we put on that bonus that gave us the extra 3 action points on kill. And you can see there, that was nice. We didn't end up taking any damage there, just because we were able to prioritize specific targets. So this game's kind of like it's similar to Persona, if you've played those games, where you want to set up as many extra attacks as possible. And when we go against enemies that have shields, that's a little bit complicated, because you have to take care of the shields first in order to be able to actually damage them. So that's where your just basic shot attack there can be pretty decent to be able to get into to actually damaging them. Also, don't be afraid to buff up your team, especially at the start of combat. Applying the powerful will give you an extra 25% of damage for each of your teammates, which is super useful. I didn't get the dodge off there. There we go. The nice thing with this is you can also parry attacks back, but those attacks are pretty well telegraphed. I was not fully paying attention there, but applying burn is going to be a priority anytime that you're able to. And you can also go with applying the ice on a target first to be able to apply a little extra damage on the burn. But as for Gustav's abilities here, once we have that set up, we can go ahead with using our skills here to go with the Lumiere Assault again to be able to stack up our electric charges. We don't have any charges right now, so we want to be getting those off at all possible, and trying to get the perfect timing, which is a little bit challenging. It does have a little square where it goes around, and I'll show you where to go. Now for him, his attack comes out really slowly here, so you can go with the dodge. Whenever you're paying attention to these attacks, watch the hand, as per normal Souls-like games kind of feel similar. What's nice is too, this just made some summons, which is, as you know, we got the ability to give ourselves extra attacks whenever we take out targets. So this is perfect for her to just go ahead with finishing them off if you can possibly get a kill on one of these targets. So for her, she's got that ability to get those 3 action points, so she just got them back. And then for him, it's all about getting the being able to use your abilities. We have 8 overcharge, so we can actually do quite a bit of damage if we were to get 4 action points. So what we might end up doing is just going with another attack against this target here, and focusing on just getting the damage in there. It's not going to be effective against them, so it might be best just to focus on just a normal attack, and then we'll release it on the next turn. So we'll just continue to attack the boss there. So she now has 5 action points after taking out a target in the last turn, so she can then go ahead with taking this out, who's a bit weak to fire damage, so that's why we're prioritizing her attacking them, as she still has the burn on the boss there, which is dealing damage over time. And now we got full overcharge, which is perfect, because then we can go ahead with using his actual overcharge ability, and we got enough action points to be able to do that, so we can actually deal a bunch of damage with this. I missed the timing on that, but we broke his posture there, which is perfect. So whenever we get a stun, they don't get to act, so then we can continually pile on them with damage and do our more powerful attacks like the Ice Lance here. So then we can follow it up with the fire attack. That's his weakness. Perfect. Anytime you know the enemy's weakness, you want to abuse that as much as possible. And just continue to pile up your charges there. And the timing on that, you have to wait. Don't press it as soon as it says A there. You got to wait for it to reach that spot. And the dodge timing on this is a little bit tricky. But you can see there, whenever the thing is right in front of the character, that's when you're going to want to dodge. And you can get those off pretty easily if paying attention. Now that we got an ice mark on the target, now we're going to use the immolation, which will do a little bit extra damage. And that's just going to go ahead with the burn again, which is just going to continually damage it over time, which is actually pretty effective. And again, for dodging, wait for it to appear in front of the character. Most of these attacks will have a sign when to dodge. It's going to be prior to it hitting your character, obviously. Now the boss built up shields again, so it would be nice to use a couple attacks to be able to reduce that, but at the same time, we almost got a full overcharge, so we want to be using that again. So we'll just go ahead with just attacking there and trying to remove it through the means of just using our ranged attacks and then just regular old attacks as well. Now we're into an awkward position because this boss is charging up, but we can break its shields down now, get one attack in, and then we got our full overdrive on Gustav here to do a bit of damage too, and we'll take it out of commission. So make sure you use the overcharge whenever you got it fully built up there, and it's pretty strong as you can see there. So boom, we were able to break its posture, and it's just one shot away, so we can take it out pretty quickly after that. And that's how you take care of a boss. So just want to make this guide to help out with ensuring you know how to start off on the right foot in Clair Obscur Expedition 33. If you have any questions, feel really free to leave them in the comments. Hit the subscribe button below if you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one.